What's this? A real challenge? You've finally caught my attention. A fellow exile. One more fool under Zana's sway. Allow me to destroy you before she has a chance to betray you, too. At least, my way will be quick. You slew my friends! You brought ruin to my world! You have invaded my very sanctum. I should be furious, and yet I feel nothing. How boring and small. Destroying you is as easy as flicking a pest. Did you really think this would work? I transcended all this long ago. Feel the thrill of
the void. Why run? What's the point? Your lives are meaningless. Watch beauty crumble.
Impressive. But now you will fight on my lands. You assumed I share the same weakness as my fellows. And now you come to me. Is it bravery or foolishness? You will long for
Non-existence. Reign of stars. Everlasting fire. Glorious flames. Be silent.
Hey guys, Dante here, back on another video. And in this one I'll be showcasing you guys the build that I'm currently playing, which is a Divine Ire of Holy Lightning. Yeah, that's a name you haven't heard in a while, have you, huh? Divine Ire, huh? Well, what is Divine Ire? Divine Ire is a channeling skill that makes a huge circle around you, basically, that zaps nearby enemies. And because we're on Elementalist, it ignites them, right? So you get 25% increased effect of cruelty because of our supports. Now the thing is with Divine Ire is, for the regular Divine Ire, you can only target, I think, 4 or 5 enemies. This one you target 16 enemies when you gain stages, right? And you get this burst deal 100% more damage with hits per stage after the first. Divine Ire channels up to a total of 10 stages. So that's when you want to release on bosses. So compared to the normal Divine Ire, this one launches a beam. Pew! But that does nothing. We don't care about that. We care about zapping a lot of enemies. Alright. So yeah, you channel to 10, you release, and then a big ignite hits the enemy, the boss, because you're only going to be using this on bosses, ignites them, right? Because we are in the Elementalist with Shaper of Flames. Now, basically that's what Divine Ire is while we're using it, and because the main reason we're using is because we can stack all the heralds, we can increase their buff effect to the moon and back. We're using Grace of the Goddess to give us Fizz's extra elements. We're using Incandescent Heart to give us elemental damage as extra chaos, and this does a lot of damage. You're basically dot cap. Yeah, that's why we're using Divine Ire of Holy Lightning. I don't know if I haven't POB'd or tested anything for other skills, but this is a blast to play, let me tell you. So let's just do a quick map to show you. This is my map farming strategy while we yap. So while you're mapping, you have so much damage, we're gonna get into that, that you don't even need to cast Divine Ire. When I go into a map, I pop my Blade Fall and then boom. You see that? Like, I'm not even pressing my Divine Ire right now. All you do is just dash and everything dies. It's really fun. You got multi-screen clear, you got everything. This build is a lot of fun, really. It's kind of like Rutu's Auto Bomber, I guess, but a bit different because we're using Divine Ire, we're not phased out or anything. So yeah, once you get to the boss, let's get to the boss real quick. You curse him with LA Weakness, channel, and he's dead. Pew! And gone, basically. Yeah, I'll go pick up the loot later. So, how does the build work, basically? We're stacking a lot of damage from our heralds because we are using the new unique Lost Unity. This gives you Herald of the Hive skill. What is Herald of the Hive? Herald of the Hive is this skill right here. Grants a buff which causes you to deal more damage for each herald skill affecting you. While you have this buff, this skill turns the space around you into in reality, releasing pulses that damages enemies around you. That is how I clear the map, right? I don't cast Divine Ire, I use the Herald and the Blade Fall of Stratos to basically kill the mobs and then proc explosions all day long. As you can see, this gives us a lot of damage, right? 3% grand, blah, 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 blah. We get a this skill deals a lot of damage, right? Because we're using every single herald, agony, purity, ash, thunder, and ice, we are getting a lot of flat damage. That's why this one has like 3.8 million tooltip. You can see all the flat damage that we have, right? Now all that flat damage will ignite. Okay, so that is how we get our flat damage. Now how do you get even more damage. We're gonna use Farewell to Flesh. Herald skills have 2% more buff effect for every 1% of maximum mana they reserve. Now they reserve a lot of mana. It is important that you do not take the reservation efficiency of Herald skills because you will lose damage, right? Try to socket to fit in your Heralds only using the minimum reservation that you need from one ring, okay? Like you see, I'm not taking reservation over here. I'm not taking reservation over here. I'm not taking any reservation, just this little node here. That's it. So how do we multiply our damage? Is with Lost Unity, Heralds, and Golems. Because we are using Leech of the Primordial, 50% increased effect of buff granted you by your Golems, and you get more Golems. And you get Bringer of Ruin, 66% increased effect of Herald buffs on you. So you already got the reservation from here, and over here you should be able to fit in all your Heralds and without any issues. Like you see, I have no other auras, just my Heralds. So that is how we scale damage. Scale buff effect for our Heralds. Heralds gives us damage. That damage is given to Divine Ire, and things go boom. You can see my level 1, I think, or what level is this? Bladefall of Strathus, what is it? It's level 12, but it has like 100k tooltip and a lot of flat damage. This is enough to kill any white mob in the game. So that's how the build works. We stack Golems with Leech of the Primordial to give us buff effect. We stack Heralds with Bringer of Ruin and Farewell to Flesh to give us more damage. We are also scaling the Golem's buff effect with Primordial Bond. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 Primordial Bonds. 40% increased effect of buffs granted by your Golems, right? So you got 7 times 4, that's a lot of increased buff effect. Plus 10% increased damage per summoned Golem. We have 20 Golems, right? You have 20 Golems. That's a lot. So, oops, wrong screen. So that's like 200% increased damage, right? Per Primordial Bond. It's important, right? One Primordial Bond gives you 200% increased damage. And then you got 7 of them. That is 1,400% increased damage. That is insane. This cacophony of stuff just makes sense once you put it together. You got Heralds, you got Golems, and you scale damage by stacking Heralds, Golems, and buff effect. Really, really fun. So I hope I explained how the build works, basically. So let's go over the gear. I don't want to make this like a 50-minute video. Grace of the Goddess is the best in slot weapon because it gives you gain Fizz as extra fire, cold, and lightning. Plus a lot of increased physical damage, okay? You want to get as high roll as possible and then throw some Tempering Orbs on it for increased explicit physical modifiers. Jesus, I'm dyslexic today. For your helmet, the Dark Monarch, Golems, great. Nothing to... you've already seen this 100 times, nothing special there. Amulet, Primordial Chain, it gives you 3 maximum Golems, but with Dark Monarch, it gives you 6 additional Golems, which is insane. Incandescent Heart, +1 socketed gems corruption if you're rich and you can find one on the market with +1 socketed gems and +2 AoE. That would be massive. Incandescent Heart is really good because it gives you gain 20% of elemental damage as extra chaos, right? That is a lot of chaos damage just from one item. Plus 25% of elemental damage from hits is taken as chaos. We're CI, we're nullifying 25% of elemental damage from hits because we have also high resistances. We got like 84 max res. Don't worry about the cold res. I need to res swap one thing here, so it's fine. So you got 84 max res plus you're nullifying another 25%, that is a huge EHP gain. Lost Unity, best in slot ring, obviously enables a lot of stuff, gives a lot of damage. Circle of Ambition. Now this is important. Pay attention. Circle of Ambition, you want one with flammability on hit, because we're gonna run a 2 curse setup. You want flammability on hit, and the main mods you want on this ring is Herald of Purity buff effect, 10% increased reservation efficiency of herald skills. Now the other 2 mods, they can be whatever. If you can get another one with Herald of Purity buff effect and Herald of Ash buff effect, that would be great. But I haven't seen any on the market, so good luck. But yeah, focus on these 2 mods, and the other ones can be whatever. Do not get reservation efficiency of 1 herald. It will make you lose damage, okay? Mage Blood for quality of life and survivability. For the shield, you want a crafted shield with +1 fizz, high energy shield, int, and ideally resistances, but I'm too lazy to recraft this, so I'm gonna leave it like that. Just focus on high energy shield and fizz. +1 fizz spell skills. For the boots, you want movement speed, energy shield, int, and resistances. The way I crafted this, I got the boots with the 35% movement speed fracture. I threw Essences of Woe on it until I hit T1% energy shield, and I did the rest of the suffixes with Eldritch Currency. For the Implices, you want Ignite Seal damage faster and 2% max fire res. Gloves, same story, because you need a lot of dex, right? You need 126 dex for your gems, I think. Yeah, 126 dex. You want dex on a piece of item. One item. So I went for the gloves, fractured dex, again Essences of Woe until I got good prefixes with high energy shield, and the suffixes with Eldritch Currency. All right. For the flask, Orias End is your best in slot for mapping and general use. I guess you could use whatever for bossing, maybe Rumi's Concoction or something for additional block chance or whatever. Yeah. Granite Flask for armor and reduce effect of curses. Ruby Flask for max res and avoid being shocked. Armor Flask on my Quicksilver, and additional resistances on my Silver Flask. Alright, so that's the gear. Let's go into the jewels and the skill tree. So I went with 3 large cluster jewels that give you Primordial Bond and Renewal. I went with this option because there is no good mod here. You only want Primordial Bond. This is the only thing you want. I went with this option because it gives me 2 good mods on this. It gives me All Res and it gives me Maximum Energy Shield, because that's what I rolled on this one. Same goes for this. It gives me increased effective all resistances. The increased effect doesn't really do much for the resistances, so this one could be better, but screw it. This one, again, energy shield and cold res, very, very good. So I still need to get a little bit of cold res, but 1 res swap from this and it'll be fixed. I am using 4 Megalomaniacs. This is where the build gets expensive, right? You really want Primordial Bond on the Megalos. There are additional stuff you can get for your Megalomaniacs. I'll have a list in my guide in the description, so make sure to chat with which possible options you can get. I went with Endbringer, Enduring Focus. This doesn't really do much, but I guess one important one is Fan the Flames, because this gives you Ignite Proliv, and Molten One's Mark for maximum resistances, and also Regen. If you cannot find one with Fan the Flames, you will have to get Ignites Inflict spread to enemies on your gloves. Alright. Other jewels. I have 1 Storm Shroud for my element immunity. Very nice. I have a Anima Stone with Corrupted Blood, which gives me another golem with Dark Monarch. That gives me 2 golems because I am running 2 Primordial Eminences. One here. Wait, where is it? Yeah, 2 Primordial Eminences. This one and this one. You don't really care much about the rolls. You just want the increased buff effect from your golems. And I am running a Forbidden Flesh and Flame combo that gives me Bastion of Elements for additional survivability. Now, it's important because you cannot take reflected elemental damage from Bastion of Elements, but your Divine Ire does a lot of physical damage, and it will kill you, so you cannot run Phys Reflect maps. Other jewels that I'm using a Balance of Terror. 39%, this goes up to 40% physical damage as extra as a random element if you cast elemental weakness in the past 10 seconds. Now, because I run an additional curse on my amulet, I got flammability on hit on the implicits. I can cast, oh god, I break my golems. Oh well, I'm gonna have to resummon them. I can cast Ellie weakness and I'll get the bonus damage. I'm pretty sure I deleted the golem from somewhere. Yeah, from there. Okay. Okay, never mind. Moving on. Yeah. I'm also using Melting God of Flesh for more maximum resistances. And I think that is about it for the jewels. So, oh yes, Storm Shroud, I went over that one, and Stone, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, okay. You can also tattoo, because we want as much int as we can on the gear, so we can tattoo 5% increase of herald buffs on you on the tree. This is as much as I can tattoo until I'm running out of int, because you need 245 for the wand. Now let's go over the gems. I'm using Frostblink of Wintry Blast with Blade Fall of Trothus and Spell Echo. This just gives you more mobility and stuff like that. In my helmet, I'm using Summon Lightning Golem, Flame Golem, Chaos Golem, and Ice Golem. In my shield, Shield Charge, Herald of Agony, and Ellie Weakness, just for more mobility. In my gloves, Herald of Purity, Herald of Ash, Empower 4, and Herald of Thunder. In my boots, now this is important, Summon Stone Golem of Safeguarding, Stone Golem of the Hordes, and Herald of Ice. Now you can see I got a lot of golems, one of them being Golem of the Hordes, which goes up to 6. I bricked them, I have to resummon them. That's annoying. But oh well. I guess that's the downside of the build. So that's how you get 20 golems. You get additional alternate quality stone golems. Stone Golem of the Hordes is basically just more cooldown recovery. And this one, right, Stone Golem of Safeguarding. Minions have 50% less life, okay. Golems grant 50% of melee damage is taken from your Stone Golem's life before you. So it's a great physical damage mitigation. Alright, those are the gems. Let's talk about the Grafts. Call of the Pyre, I'm using this one with damaging enemies that damage faster. As you can see, these fiery cones, they cover enemies in ash. Basically more damage, but the damage is overcapped on dot anyway, so it doesn't matter really. I'm using a draining ash graph with energy shield, and these cause enemies to be sapped. I've been using this in my builds previously. They just sap enemies, giving you an additional layer of defense. Alright, I hope I covered everything. I tried to speedrun this so I don't drag it on forever. But as always, if you do have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments. I'll try to answer each and every one of them as best as I can. And yeah, I hope you guys found the build interesting. I hope you found it fun. I know it can be expensive, but it's a goal you can work towards, and it will be very, very satisfying once you get it going. But yeah, until next time, take care and stay safe. Oh, and make sure to sub. Bye.